How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, November 25th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite performances and matchups from yesterday, November 24th, 2021. Before I get in, taking a quick step back and looking at where we are, the college basketball season is in the midst, or is getting started and underway. College football season is still going on as the next games will take place this weekend, and not to mention that the NFL is well underway as its games won't start playing until, of course, today, as the Lions are going to host the Chicago Bears, the Dallas Cowboys are going to host the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the New Orleans Saints are going to host the Buffalo Bills. And then, of course, looking at what's going on in the NBA, there's still a good amount of NBA games going on as the NBA is still getting underway. First, taking a look at what's going on with Champions League overseas, looking at these matchups taking place. Ajax was able to beat Besiktas 2-1 as both their goals came from Sebastian Haller. Big win for them. Inter Milan was able to beat Shakhtar Donetsk 2-0 as both of their goals came from Edin Dzeko. AC Milan was able to beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 in its matchup. RB Leipzig was able to beat Club Brugge in Belgium 5-0. They got a brace from Christopher Nkunku, Eric Forsberg, and they were able to get a goal from Andre Silva. Liverpool was able to beat FC Porto 2-0 as their two goals came from their elite Spanish midfielder Thiago Alcantara and their elite Egyptian forward Mo Salah. Manchester City was able to beat PSG 2-1 in its matchup as Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus scored the two goals for Man City after Mbappe scored PSG's lone goal in the first half. Real Madrid was able to beat Sheriff Tiraspol 3-0 as their three goals came from their elite Austrian defender David Alaba, their elite midfielder Toni Kroos, and then their elite forward from France Karim Benzema. And Sporting CP was able to beat Borussia Dortmund 3-1 as they were able to get two goals from Pedro Goncalves, and Porto was able to score the third goal before Dortmund's lone goal came from Malin in the 93rd minute. Taking a look now at what's going back in the States, starting with the 6th-ranked basketball team in the nation, the defending champs, the Baylor Bears hosted the unranked Arizona State Sun Devils in the bad boy mowers battle for Atlantis. The 6th-ranked Baylor Bears would end up beating Arizona State 75-63. They would win this matchup by 12 after they outscored Arizona State by 14 in the first half. On the winning end of this matchup, the Baylor Bears were led in scoring by their guard off the bench, LJ Cryer. He finished with 15 points in 25 minutes. He shot 6 for 12 from the field and 3 for 5 from 3. With this win, 6th-ranked Baylor is now 5-0. With this loss, unranked Arizona State is now 2-3. Looking at the 8th-ranked team in the nation, the Texas Longhorns would host unranked California Baptist. The Longhorns would beat the Lancers 68-44. They won this matchup by 24 after outscoring the Lancers by 19 in the first half and by 5 in the second. On the winning end of this matchup, the Texas Longhorns would be led in scoring by their starting forward, Timmy Allen, out of Mesa, Arizona. Timmy Allen would go on to finish with 15 points and 8 rebounds as well as 3 steals. He would do all of this in 29 minutes as he shot 5 for 9 from the field. He made his only 3-point attempt of the night, and he shot 4 for 6 from the foul line. Their guard, Andrew Jones, would go on to finish with 15 points off the bench as he would go on to add 5 assists as well. With this win, the 8th-ranked Texas Longhorns are now 4-1. They are undefeated at home. With this loss, the unranked California Baptist Lancers are now 5-1. This is their very first loss of the season. Looking at the 9th-ranked team in the nation, the Memphis Tigers went to Virginia Tech to face off against the unranked Hokies. And the Tigers would win this matchup 69-61 in the UPSI NIT season tip-off. The Tigers would win this matchup by 8 after outscoring the Hokies by 5 in the second half. On the winning end of this matchup, the Memphis Tigers were led in scoring by their starting senior out of Houston, DeAndre Williams. Williams finished with 16 points and 10 rebounds in 25 minutes. He shot 6 for 10 from the field. He made his only 3 on the night, and he shot a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. Their elite young forward, Imani Bates, finished with 9 points points and 4 rebounds in 23 minutes. He shot 2 for 10 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the 9th-ranked Memphis Tigers are now 5-0 to start their season. With this loss, unranked Virginia Tech is now 5-1 to start its season. Looking at the 12th-ranked team in the nation, the Houston Cougars faced off against the unranked Oregon Ducks at the Jim Maui Invitational. Houston would beat Oregon 78-49. They won this matchup by 29 points after they outscored Oregon by 22 in the first half and by 7 in the second. The 12th-ranked Houston Cougars would be led in scoring by their starting forward, Fabian White Jr. out of Atascocita, Texas. He would go on to finish with 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals, all in 27 minutes. He shot 5 for 13 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the 12th-ranked Houston Cougars are 5-1. With this loss, the unranked Oregon Ducks are now 3-3. Looking at the 18th-ranked team in the nation, the BYU Cougars hosted the unranked Texas Southern Tigers. BYU would remain undefeated, and Texas Southern will remain winless after BYU beat Texas Southern 81-64. BYU won this matchup by 17 after outscoring Texas Southern by 13 in the first half. On the winning end of this matchup, the 18th-ranked Cougars would be led in scoring by their starting guard, Tajon Lucas, out of Milwaukee. He will go on to finish with 18 points, 7 assists, and 2 steals in 31 minutes. He shot 8 for 14 from the field and 1 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the 18th-ranked BYU Cougars are now 5-0. With this loss, unranked Texas Southern is now 0-6. Taking a look at what's going on with the 19th-ranked team in the nation, the Auburn Tigers faced off against the 22nd-ranked Yukon Huskies at the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis. Yukon would end up beating Auburn 115-109 in double overtime, as the Huskies would outscore Auburn by 11 in the first half and then by 6 in overtime. On the losing end of this matchup, the 19th-ranked Auburn Tigers would be led in scoring by their starting guard, KD Johnson, out of Atlanta, Georgia. He finished with 27 points and 5 steals in 38 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 11 for 16 from the foul line. The Auburn Tigers starting forward, Jabari Smith, out of Fayetteville, Georgia, would go on to finish with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals as he fouled out in 39 minutes. He shot 4 for 13 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 12 for 12 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the 22nd-ranked Yukon Huskies were led in scoring by their starting forward, Adama Sonogo, out of Mali. He will go on to finish with 30 points and 6 rebounds, as well as 2 blocks and 8 turnovers in 37 minutes. He shot 12 for 25 from the field and 6 for 7 from the foul line. Their starting guard, RJ Cole, finished with 24 points and 6 assists, as well as 3 steals and 5 turnovers in 47 minutes. He shot 6 for 14 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the foul line. Their forward off the bench, Tyler Polley, out of Miramar, Florida, will go on to finish with 24 points and 5 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 6 for 10 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the 22nd-ranked Yukon Huskies are now 5-0. With this loss, the 19th-ranked Auburn Tigers are now 3-1. Taking a look now at what's going on with the 20th-ranked team in the nation, the Michigan Wolverines hosted the unranked Tarleton Texans. Michigan would beat Tarleton 65-54. They won this matchup by 11 after outscoring the Texans by 9 in the first half. On the winning end of this matchup, the Wolverines would be led in scoring by their starting guard, Eli Brooks, out of Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. Eli Brooks finished with 15 points and 2 steals, as well as 5 turnovers in 40 minutes. He shot 4 for 12 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the 20th-ranked Michigan Wolverines are now 4-2. With this loss, unranked Tarleton is now 1-5. Looking at the 21st-ranked team in the nation, the Seton Hall Pirates would face off against the unranked California Golden Bears in the Fort Myers tip-off. Seton Hall would beat Cal 62-59. They won by 3 after outscoring Cal by 2 in the first half and by 1 in the second, keeping it very close. On the winning end of this matchup, the Pirates were led in scoring by their starting guard, Jared Rhoden, out of Baldwin, New York. Rhoden finished with 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 4 for 13 from the field and 12 for 15 from the foul line. With this win, the 21st-ranked Seton Hall Pirates are now 4-1. With this loss, the unranked Cal Golden Bears are now 2-4. Taking a look at what went down with the 23rd ranked team in the nation, the Florida Gators would face off against the unranked Ohio State Buckeyes at the Fort Myers tip-off. 23rd ranked Florida would beat Ohio State 71-68. They won this matchup by 3 after outscoring Ohio State by 7 in the second half. On the winning end of this matchup, the Florida Gators were led in scoring by their guard off the bench, Flanders Fleming Jr. Flanders Fleming Jr. would finish with 19 points and 4 steals in 33 minutes. He shot 5 for 11 from the field and 9 for 10 from the foul line. With this win, the Florida Gators are now 5-0, and with this loss, unranked Ohio State is now 4-2. Taking a look at what went down with the 25th ranked team in the nation, the Xavier Musketeers went to unranked Iowa State and lost to the Cyclones. The Cyclones won this matchup 82-70. They won by 12 after outscoring Xavier by 13 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 25th ranked Xavier Musketeers were led by their forward off the bench, Jack Nunge, out of Newburgh, Indiana. He will go on to finish with 24 points and 2 blocks in 23 minutes. He shot 9 for 11 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the unranked Iowa State Cyclones were led in scoring by their starting guard out of Philly, Isaiah Brockington. He finished with 30 points, 6 rebounds as well in 38 minutes as he shot 12 for 19 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and 2 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, Iowa State is now 5-0. With this loss, the 25th ranked Xavier Musketeers are now 4-1 to start their season. Taking a look, last but not least, at what's going on in the NBA. Starting off with what's going down in Cleveland, the Cavaliers hosted the Phoenix Suns. The Suns would end up beating the Cavaliers 120-115. The Suns would win this matchup by 5 after they outscored the Cavs by 10 in the second half. They would go on the losing end of this matchup. The Cavs would be led in scoring by their starting center, Jared Allen. Allen finished with 25 points and 11 rebounds in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 10 from the field and 7 for 9 from the foul line. Off the bench, their small forward out of Turkey, Cedi Osman, finished with 23 points in 28 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field and 5 for 7 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Devin Booker. Booker finished with 35 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 14 for 21 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and he shot 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, finished with 17 points, 2 rebounds, and 12 assists in 32 minutes. He shot 4 for 8 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and he shot 7 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are now 15-3. With this loss, the Cleveland Cavaliers are now 9-10 on the season. Taking a look now at what went down in Indianapolis, the Pacers hosted the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers would beat the Pacers 124-116. The Lakers would outscore the Pacers 12-4 in overtime to win this matchup. On the losing end of this matchup, the Indiana Pacers were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Virginia, Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon finished with 28 points and 7 rebounds in 46 minutes. He shot 9 for 21 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and he shot 5 for 6 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, alongside him on the court, the LA Lakers were led in scoring by their goated starting small forward, LeBron James. LeBron finished with 39 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, as well as 2 blocks in 43 minutes. He shot 13 for 29 from the field, 5 for 12 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the foul line. Their goated starting point guard, the NBA's all-time leader in triple-doubles, Russell Westbrook, finished with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 40 minutes. He shot 5 for 15 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and he shot 9 for 11 from the foul line. With this win, the LA Lakers are now 10-10. With this loss, the Indiana Pacers are now 8-12. Taking a look now at what went down in Orlando, the Orlando Magic hosted the Charlotte Hornets. The The Hornets would go on to beat the Magic 106-99. The Hornets won this matchup by 7 after they outscored the Magic by 7 in the second quarter and then by 4 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Orlando Magic were led in scoring by their starting center out of Texas, Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba finished with 18 points and 12 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field and 4 for 7 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the Charlotte Hornets were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Terry Rozier. Rozier finished with 27 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 11 for 22 from the field. He would go on to shoot 2 for 4 from the foul line as well. Their elite starting point guard and reigning NBA Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball, finished with 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in 26 minutes. He shot 7 for 17 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their shooting guard off the bench, Kelly Oubre Jr., finished with 21 points and 6 rebounds in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 17 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and he would shoot 4 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, the Charlotte Hornets are now 12-8. With this loss, the Orlando Magic are now 4-15. Taking a look now at what went down in Boston, the Celtics hosted the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets would end up beating the Celtics 123-104. The Nets won this matchup by 19 after they outscored the Celtics by 15 in the first half and by 8 in the third. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Celtics were led in scoring by their starting point guard, Marcus Smart. He finished with 20 points, 8 assists, and 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 6 for 14 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and he shot a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. The Celtics' elite starting small forward out of Duke, Jason Tatum, finished with 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 turnovers in 30 minutes. He shot 4 for 16 from the field, 1 for 9 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Australia, Patty Mills. Mills finished with 23 points in 33 minutes. He shot 8 for 12 from the field and 7 for 10 from 3. Their goated starting power forward, Kevin Durant, finished with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in 37 minutes. He would go on to shoot 8 for 16 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their elite starting shooting guard and former NBA MVP, James Harden, finished with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 4 for 13 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the foul line. With this win, the Brooklyn Nets are now 14-5. With this loss, the Boston Celtics are now 10-9. Taking a look now at what is going down in Houston, the Rockets hosted the Chicago Bulls. The Rockets were able to pull off their second win of the season after they beat the Bulls 118-113. They won this matchup by 5 after they outscored the Bulls by 17 in the third quarter alone. That was the only quarter they outscored the Bulls in. On the losing end of this matchup, the Chicago Bulls were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of UCLA, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine finished with 28 points in 36 minutes. He shot 11 for 22 from the field, and he shot 3 for 5 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Houston Rockets would be led in scoring by their small forward off the bench, Daniel House Jr. He finished with 18 points and 2 blocks in 17 minutes. He shot 6 for 7 from the field, a perfect 4 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Houston Rockets are now 2-16. With this loss, the Chicago Bulls are now 12-7. Taking a look now at what is going down in Memphis, the Grizzlies would go on to host the Toronto Raptors from up north. The Raptors would beat the Grizzlies 126-113. The Raptors won this matchup by 13 after they outscored the Grizzlies by 11 in the third quarter, by 14 in the fourth, by 25 combined in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies would be led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, John Morant. Morant finished with 23 points. He would also finish with 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals in 35 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field, and he shot 7 for 10 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Dillon Brooks, finished with 20 points in 26 minutes. He shot 6 for 16 from the field and 6 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Desmond Bane, finished with 20 points in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 11 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Raptors were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Duke, Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent finished with 26 points in 39 minutes. He shot 8 for 17 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and he shot a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Fred VanVleet, finished with 23 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 14 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and he shot a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. The Raptors' elite starting power forward, Pascal Siakam, finished with 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists in 33 minutes. He shot 5 for 12 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the foul line. With this win, the Toronto Raptors are now 9-10. With this loss, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 9-9. Taking a look at what's going down in Milwaukee, the reigning champs Milwaukee Bucks hosted the Detroit Pistons. The Bucks would beat the Pistons 114-93. The Bucks won this matchup by 21 after they would go on to outscore the Pistons by 12 in the first half and then by an additional 9 in the second. On the losing end of this matchup, the Pistons were led in scoring by their power forward off the bench, Trey Lyles, out of Kentucky. He finished with 19 points and 7 rebounds in 23 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks were led in scoring by their elite starting power forward and last year's NBA All-Star Game MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or this year's All-Star Game MVP. Giannis Antetokounmpo would finish with 33 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 31 minutes. He shot 12 for 17 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and he shot 8 for 10 from the foul line. Their starting center out of Arkansas, Bobby Portis, would finish with 28 points and 10 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 10 for 14 from the field, 6 for 7 from 3, and he shot a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. Their starting point guard, Drew Holiday, out of UCLA, finished with 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Milwaukee Bucks are now 11-8. With this loss, the Detroit Pistons are now 4-14. Taking a look now at what went down in Minneapolis Wednesday over, the Minnesota Timberwolves would host the Miami Heat. The Timberwolves would beat the Heat 113-101. They won this matchup by 12 after they outscored the Heat by 20 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Miami Heat were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Bam Adebayo. Adebayo finished with 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 10 from the field and 4 for 11 from the foul line. Their elite starting small forward out of Marquette, Jimmy Butler, finished with 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 5 for 9 from the field and 6 for 7 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard, Kyle Lowry, finished with 7 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 fouls in 23 minutes. He shot 3 for 6 from the field, and he shot 1 for 4 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Anthony Edwards, last year's number 1 overall pick. He finished with 33 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals, as well as 5 turnovers in 43 minutes. He shot 13 for 27 from the field, 6 for 15 from 3, and he made his only free throw attempt on the night. Their elite starting point guard, D'Angelo Russell, finished with 20 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 6 for 14 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their shooting guard off the bench, Malik Beasley, finished with 29 points in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 19 from the field, 5 for 13 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the foul line. And the Timberwolves' elite starting center, Karl Anthony Towns, out of Kentucky, finished with 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks in 29 minutes. He shot 4 for 12 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Minnesota Timberwolves are now 9-9. With this loss, the Miami Heat are now 12-7. Taking a look now at what is going on in New Orleans, the Pelicans would host the Washington Wizards. The Pelicans would beat the Wizards in this matchup 127-102. Pelicans won this matchup by 25 after they outscored the Wizards by 9 in the first quarter and by 13 in the second, by a combined 22 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Wizards would be led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard out of Florida, Bradley Beal. Beal finished with 23 points and 5 rebounds in 28 minutes. He shot 11 for 20 from the field and 1 for 3 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the New Orleans Pelicans were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward out of Duke, Brandon Ingram. Ingram finished with 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in 32 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and he shot 7 for 8 from the foul line. Their starting center, Jonas Valanciunas, finished with 21 points and 11 rebounds in 24 minutes. He shot 7 for 18 from the field, and he would go on to shoot a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the New Orleans Pelicans are now 4-16. With this loss, the Washington Wizards are now 11-7. Taking a look at what went down in Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City Thunder hosted the Utah Jazz. The Jazz would end up beating the Thunder 110-104. The Jazz won this matchup by 6 after they outscored the Thunder by 9 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Thunder were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Luguentz Dort. Dort finished with 27 points in 37 minutes. He shot 8 for 19 from the field, 5 for 12 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Utah Jazz were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic. At least he led the starters. Their leading scorer was their point guard off the bench, Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson finished with 20 points and 5 assists in 24 minutes. He shot 7 for 12 from the field. He shot 3 for 7 from 3 and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their elite starting center out of France, Rudy Gobert, finished with 15 points, 17 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 blocks in 39 minutes. He shot 5 for 7 from the field and 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their elite starting shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell, finished with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 6 for 16 from the field and 1 for 7 from 3. With this win, the Utah Jazz are now 12-6. With this loss, the Oklahoma City Thunder are now 6-12. Taking a look now at what is going on in San Antonio, the Spurs would host the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks would beat the Spurs 124-106. The Hawks won this matchup by 18 after they outscored the Spurs by 20 points in the middle 2 quarters. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown San Antonio Spurs were led in scoring by their shooting guard off the bench, Bryn Forbes. Forbes finished with 23 points in 24 minutes. He shot 9 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. DeJounte Murray was their starting point guard. He would finish with 22 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, and 2 steals in 34 minutes. He would go on to shoot 9 for 20 from the field and 4 for 7 from 3. He would go on to shoot 4 for 7 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the Atlanta Hawks would be led in scoring by their elite starting point guard out of Oklahoma, Trae Young. Young finished with 31 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and 2 steals in 30 minutes. He shot 14 for 22 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Atlanta Hawks are now 10-9. With this loss, the San Antonio Spurs are now 4-13. Taking a look now at what's going down in Oakland, the Golden State Warriors hosted the Philadelphia 76ers. The Warriors would beat the 76ers 116-96. They won this matchup by 20 after they outscored the Sixers by 11 in the third quarter and by 18 in the fourth quarter, outscoring them by 29 in the second half to win this matchup. On the losing end of this matchup, the Sixers were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Duke, Seth Curry. Curry finished with 24 points and 2 steals in 33 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field and a perfect 8 for 8 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Golden State Warriors would be led in scoring by their goated starting point guard, Stephen Curry, out of Davidson. Curry finished with 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists in 35 minutes. He shot 9 for 16 from the field, 6 for 11 from 3, and he shot 1 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the Golden State Warriors are now 16-2. With this loss, the Philadelphia 76ers are now 10-9. Last but not least, taking a look at what went down in Sacramento, the Kings hosted the Portland Trailblazers. The Kings would beat the Trailblazers 125-121. They won this matchup by 4 after they outscored the Trailblazers by 6 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Trailblazers would be led in scoring by their elite starting point guard Damien Lillard out of Weber State. Lillard finished with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists in the 40 minutes. He shot 7 for 18 from the field, 3 for 12 from 3, and 15 for 16 from the foul line. Their starting center, Jusuf Nurkic, finished with 28 points, 17 rebounds, and 5 assists as he fouled out in 32 minutes. He shot 12 for 17 from the field, and he shot 4 for 5 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Norman Powell, finished with 22 points and 2 steals in 35 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Sacramento Kings were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Buddy Hield. He would come off the bench, actually. He finished with 22 points in 30 minutes as he shot 6 for 15 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3, and he shot 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their starting point guard out of Kentucky, De'Aaron Fox, finished with 21 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, as well as 5 turnovers in 27 minutes. He shot 8 for 13 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the Sacramento Kings are now 7-12. With this loss, the Portland Trailblazers are now 10-9. So that is what the NBA is looking like. And with that said, I want to thank the ESPN, NCAA, NFL, and NBA websites for giving me all the facts and figures that I needed for this episode. I do hope all is well. And once all of today's matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Friday, November 26th, for another episode of The Elite. So I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well, and I will catch you all with another episode tomorrow. Thanks for listening to this piece. Peace out.